All right, guys, welcome to a brand new episode of Philosophy Culture. Back here again with the bro. Yeah, the Costin. How
Yeah,
are you
yeah,
doing, bro?
I'm good, bro, Emils. How are you doing?
Yeah, chilling.
Yeah, good.
What is today's topic?
Today's topic will be mostly focused on politics, I would say, and you know, influence that right or left parties may have on the economy.
Yeah,
Uh, that's very briefly. But we will go on other rounds as well. So
yeah.
check it out.
A new episode, new topic. What would we name like call this topic episode? Like
Well,
Republican and liberal economics or something. I don't know.
yeah, exactly. But it's an interesting type of episode because we are usually in the phase where we now discuss right like history, financial history, sort of, or
Yeah, yeah.
like economic history or something like that. Historical events that affected had an effect on the economy somehow. But now
Yeah.
we'll try to do like a different approach, I guess, where we will try to look more into the future, right? And I don't think we will make any predictions though, but we might just discuss it briefly. Uh,
Yeah.
and
I don't
perhaps
know.
we'll focus. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Nah, it's cool. It's cool. Yeah, I don't really know how this episode will turn out, but we will just do a little back and forth and see where we arrive in our discussion. But that's kind of the objective or the premise of this episode is to focus on the economy between or economic policies. Feels so weird to say because we haven't done any research, but
Yeah, but it
yeah,
will be more of a sort of discussion, right?
yeah.
And good. All right. So how if we start with the classic question, why do you think this is important? Or let's say, why did we choose to discuss this topic? I think this is more of an accurate question than yeah.
Yeah. Well, um, I think it's important because the states are still the I think it is the biggest economy in the world, right?
Yeah.
Uh, at least among the top echelon or in the top echelon of the largest economies in the world. And so, yeah, it's another way we can satiate our curiosity and see how the economic policies or economic mindsets look in the partisan political system that they have between the Republican and the liberal parties, right?
Good. Yeah.
So that's kind of my answer to that question, why it is important and why I feel it's interesting. How about you?
I think it will be interesting because I feel that you are much more into this than me, certainly than me. So I think you have a lot more knowledge about this topic and especially what's going on in the States. Even though we're not professionals, right? Like I mean, we're still we are not studying any politicians, political science or anything like that. So we're still from taking it from a maybe more basic perspective. I don't know. Or yeah, if you compare it to some of the politicians and how they talk and what they include in their debates, maybe it's a more basic, or I think it's a more basic approach.
Yeah,
Uh, but I also think that there are so many different elections this year, right?
Yeah.
Especially in 2024. So it will. I think it's good to have at least touched this topic a bit, and also because we after the pandemic, the after the pandemic, and we have all these different wars, so the economies all over the world are kind of shaky, even though it looks like they are doing very well. I mean, if you look at the stock market and so on, everything seems to just boom ish. But there are so many people or yeah, investors that says that there is something beneath the actual numbers that is kind of that is hiding the actual path where this goes.
Right, right, right.
So yeah, and of course the politics had a great impact on the economy.
Yeah,
So I mean, yeah, I
for
don't have
sure.
much else to add. Yeah,
Okay. So how do we start this? Uh, we
that's
have this common article
yeah,
from Investpedia, which looks at Republican and Democratic approaches to regulating the economy.
yeah.
It's our article. And
Can I ask you a question though? I think maybe this is a good opener.
all
Uh,
right.
yeah. How do you think the US economy will be affected depending on let's say that Joe Biden wins, or let's say that Trump wins? How do you
All
think
right.
the outcomes will impact the maybe it's a really tricky question.
I
but but I think
actually not it's not that complicated, I think.
yeah, no, yeah, I mean, of course it depends on which type of level you want to talk about it, but I think it, like, let's say from our perspectives, how do you see it?
Well, the thing is, we already have seen the outcomes
Uh-huh.
because both Trump and Biden have been now in the Oval Office
Yeah.
and have had the power to control things.
Hmm.
And it's pretty clear that the economy was better off when Trump was in power.
Yeah.
Uh, in terms of the cost of living, when you listen to what the average American says and like how optimistic they are about the future and things like that. If you compare those years under Trump and now under Biden, it's like a pretty telling difference.
Yeah.
And so yeah,
But I mean, I think Biden was elected in 2020, right?
yeah.
So he was elected during the pandemic.
Well, yeah, yeah, exactly.
And
Even but how was it now? Because Trump was actually president during the start of the pandemic.
yes, and it was in late 2020 that that Joe Biden won, right? Because
Exactly,
I think their
exactly. Yeah,
elections are during the like fourth
November.
quarter. Yeah, November, December. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
exactly. So yeah, that's the tricky, like a bit unforeseen event, right?
yeah,
Of the majority, at least. I'm not gonna get too conspiratorial, but
mhm,
there are some people who have predicted the pandemic. But yeah, whatever.
yeah,
But yeah, that's kind of the saying that you can, I don't know, see as this wild event that can complicate things on how you compare the economies, I guess.
Yeah.
Because the pandemic messed up the economy pretty good when everything had to shut down. But the thing is, okay, I'm actually not that not knowledgeable, but I think there was a time when Trump gave the authority to individual states to deal with the pandemic as they as they like thought would be the best way.
Yeah.
So it's not like entirely on Trump. I don't know, but yeah, that's a thing to maybe keep in mind as well. Not to say that Trump is like that he didn't uh, have the authority or the power to like control things under those times, but I think the states could also decide for themselves how they like how much they wanted to close down and stuff because I think Florida was the state who opened up things first. And that is why I think even the first UFC event was in Florida, if I'm not mistaken. Uh, yeah, when things started to like kind of opening up. So yeah, it was up to the states. But what was your question? Was it like,
How, based on the outcome of the elections this year,
yeah,
how do you think it will affect the US economy?
right, and then I started to like talk about that we have seen like the
Yeah.
Biden and Trump. Okay, let's jump over the pandemic event, and but yeah, uh, as we also see in this article, like Republicans are more for letting or taking the foot off the gas pedal when it
Mm.
comes to business or commercial regulations and stuff like that, and then that makes for a better environment for the smaller businesses as well. And also, the thing is that Trump is, he is a businessman first and foremost. He hasn't been in the political field. He has been a major player in the real estate uh, market in New York and yeah and stuff like that. So I think yeah he's just for good business. I think and that is why so many people also like him and his policies, I think. And also he's America first. Like there's so many good things which Trump stands for. Not to be biased, but
You're not biased at all. Not
not
at
biased enough.
all. Not at all.
But like the proof is in the pudding, as they say, right?
Yeah.
Because we see now that how things are managed now by Biden, or if it is Biden, the people around Biden, because I'm not sure the Biden the Biden Biden is
Mm.
capable of I don't know doing anything sophisticated, but yeah,
Yeah.
so
I don't know. It's interesting
that's
because
kind of my answer.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think the economy will be much better off with Trump because yeah. Um, because all because of all of those things that I mentioned.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not gonna go around in circles, but yeah.
yeah. No, I think it's interesting because, as we said, Biden was elected in the beginning of the pandemic, right? Let's say that the
Yeah.
pandemic was from 2020 till 2021, beginning of 2022, right? So he was kind of elected in the middle of it. Uh, and then he had to deal with, yeah, the Biden administration had to deal with a crisis, right? And a crazy ass inflation, which was actually also caused by them, by pumping a lot of money into the economy and giving all of these aid packages uh, to different businesses, which I think were somewhat necessary, because otherwise, there would be so many small businesses that would have failed miserably. Um,
Well, there were
yeah, I
many,
mean,
many,
of
many who
course.
failed.
Yeah, yeah. There were a lot of failures, of course, but I think there would have been even like many more. Uh, so I think, it was a good thing, but yeah, now I'm not a professional economist here, and I'm not uh, into regulations and economic stimulations and so on.
Okay, but
But
then you can be quiet because I know this stuff.
okay, okay,
No,
you
no,
go.
okay, okay.
No, so it will be interesting. It feels like, yeah, as I said, the Biden administration had kind of a rough time, but it was a rough time in rough time. They had a rough time in rough times. Uh, so yeah, maybe they could
But
have done better. I'm not sure.
but the
But
thing,
yeah,
yeah, sorry.
go ahead. No,
Continue.
go ahead.
But the thing is, like, let's say the pandemic was between 2020, as you said, and like you said the 2021, 2021,
2022, I would say.
22,
Beginning of
yeah,
2022, yeah.
2022. All right. And since then, Biden has had 2 years to you know, okay, yeah, to really prioritize the U.S. economy, which he hasn't done. Like, okay, we have there have been these two wars that have taken place, right? The Ukraine and Russia war and the Middle East conflict. But yeah, and then the thing that he has done is to send like stupid large amounts of money to those countries, and like there, I don't. It's interesting because of course there is like a intention behind those packages, right? And the money is sent, for example, to Ukraine is to help Ukraine defend itself against Russia, but like, yeah, it is controversial because first of all, Ukraine is pretty corrupt, and they aren't a part of NATO. And then you have all these scandals with, you know, Biden and his son's connections in Ukraine, how they have like laundered money and all this weird, shady stuff that has like been at least talked about in the on the Republican side when they criticize, the Biden family and stuff.
Yeah.
So it is controversial, and at the same time, the taxes are pretty high in the States. And when you look at how it's just a lot of corruption in the U.S. government as well. Because when you look at one of their biggest problems is homelessness, right? At least in the liberal states like California.
Yeah.
The money isn't the issue. Like they are spending like I think I saw something today. There were like hundreds of millions are spent on this issue on like homelessness, but the homelessness issue is just getting worse. Like make that make sense. It's like the money isn't the issue. It's like the corruptness and the logic behind solving the issue, which is the problematic thing. And I don't know, just yeah, it's just really obvious that Biden and his administration hasn't been putting American citizens first. It's just so clear.
Because yeah, I'm not arguing for or against now, because I'm just trying to stay neutral, and yeah.
That's actually really good. That's really good to kind of balance out my unbiased.
I mean, I hope that I'm kind of more on your side, to be honest. More for Trump. That's true. But I'm just thinking about what has been said and so on. And I don't know. There are so many people. I have heard people say that some of the aid that is sent to Ukraine is actually money from confiscated Russian assets, right?
Confiscated Russian assets. So, who confiscated the assets?
U.S.
All right. And do you know what type of assets?
Let's say, but like I'm not sure how the thing with bank accounts works and so on, but probably bank accounts, right? And then we have
Okay.
like we have different like real estate. We have yachts
All right. All
and
right.
so on, right?
Okay.
So there's like some people claim that the U.S. besides giving printing money to help them uh, to help Ukraine get a lot of help, they have also used these confiscated Russian assets to actually provide uh, Ukraine with the aid they need. And then there are also people saying that since I mean all of this money that is going to Ukraine is actually passing through the US economy first, because what they do is that they pump all of this money into the military industry, which produce, let's say, ammunition, and then send that to Ukraine. But it is, of course, I mean, that is still pumping money into your economy first, which will benefit you, right? And then sending it over to Ukraine.
How can you explain the when you say that the economy goes or the money goes into the U.S. economy first?
Yeah, because they are not actually sending money like in a letter. Like here, you have like 50 billion.
Oh,
Some people say that they are
oh,
actually sending it in a form of ammunition or other I don't know other type of
like
machinery or whatever it
equipment.
is. The
Right,
equipment.
right, right,
Yeah, yeah.
right. Yeah.
So yeah, so those would be like two arguments to the whole. I don't even remember how I could end up on this rant. As usual.
That's the issue with this conversation. I almost feel like because there's kind of so many aspects or I don't know ideas and theories that you can kind of move into and kind of yeah, it's pretty easy to lose your train of thought. So,
Yes.
but all right. But
Uh,
don't you think that pure numbers are like aren't sent also to Ukraine? Because I would imagine that they also send just pure numbers to.
Probably, yeah, probably. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. And yeah, I think some part of it is just, money. Like,
because equipment and machinery, I think it's a pretty big process to even like get to Ukraine from the States. It's a pretty long way.
yeah,
Or
yeah.
maybe if there are, I don't know, I'm not really informed, but I'm sure there are factories in Ukraine. But what do I know? Since there have been a lot of talks, like that the not the NATO states should like sponsor uh, Ukraine, and then you have heard um, that ammunition is sent over. That I think some country even have donated tanks
Hmm.
and stuff like that, like that sort of machinery.
And that's, yeah, sorry.
But yeah.
And talking about NATO and donating and funding the Ukraine war, it's interesting because I think when Trump was president, I think he chose to not spend as much money on the NATO alliance as US actually does, or something like that. I don't
Mhm.
exactly remember what it was, but I remember
Yeah.
that there was something towards that direction, at
Hmm,
least.
hmm, hmm.
Uh, so yeah, it's really interesting, and he comes also with different types of, I think he said that if he would be elected president, he would make sure that the war ends in one day. I, I, but yeah, who knows?
Do you believe it's possible?
I don't think it will be possible to end it in one day. Uh, no, not in one day. Maybe to make sure that they, stop shooting on each other, or have like some kind of what would you call it? Some kind of there is a specific word for that, which I don't recall.
You mean like compromise?
Yeah, sort of. But I don't think like in one day Russia will retreat all their troops and everything, and Putin will be like, oh, okay, Trump, let's go. Uh, I don't think so. Um, but yeah, who knows? I mean, I think he claimed, or yeah, during one debate he said that during his presidency, there was not one war
Yeah,
with US started, not started, but was involved in, I think, or something
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
So I mean, yeah, and I think he also was the first president to actually, like, the first US president to visit North Korea, or if it was the only president to visit North. I don't remember, but it's he had a sort of a fight with Kim Jong Un about his nuclear nuclear bombs and so on. But yeah,
Yeah. Now you have given me ammunition to go on a unbiased rant.
okay, go.
But I wanted to say a thing about NATO.
Yes.
You said that when Trump was in power, that the US didn't spend nearly as much or as much money on the NATO alliance
Hmm.
as NATO or US have done prior to Trump. And I think that makes perfect sense because I saw this. I actually listened to one of his speeches like a month ago or two, uh, where he actually mentioned this, and I have actually I think it was also on the PBD podcast where they spoke about this. And the thing is that the NATO is damn, what's the word? Uh, NATO consists of a lot of EU countries, right?
Yeah.
Which is like this alliance. Yeah, and the thing is that there are many countries who are in NATO, but who aren't uh, paying the necessarily percentage of their GDP to the NATO alliance, which US has covered for all these years. All these years. That is why Trump thinks would like to see other EU countries to pay their fair share for this alliance. That is the reason why he has not contributed to the NATO alliance while he was in power. That's one. Uh, what's the other thing you said? To end the war, right? The thing is, yeah, when Trump was president, we didn't have like any like significant wars where the Western world was like heavily involved in.
Hmm.
And the reason is because he was actually a good, strong leader and could uphold these candid diplomatic relationships, as we see, as you just mentioned with North Korea and Putin, and like he knew how to speak like he actually was the leader of the Western world,
Yeah.
Now we have Biden here, who can't even speak clearly at times during his speeches. So it's like, I don't know. It's so the contrast is so mind-boggling. It's not even like, I don't know, man. It's so it's crazy. Uh, and then and the second point, we have the his relationships with the other world leaders is on point. The second thing is that we have all these industries who benefit from chaos. You know, we have the all these companies who produce, machinery, ammunition, and stuff like that, who benefit from war, and all these other like the health industry benefits from sick people, and so on. Uh, so the incentives are for for those industries to advocate or to in shady ways be pro-war, not be pro-peace. That is another thing which yeah, Trump is against. So and also now that we have Biden, like, no, man, he isn't in control. That's the thing. I don't believe he is in control, and it's the people around him who yeah, have the control. He's just the face. It really seems like it. So yeah, there was like this third thing that you said, but I can't remember. What was it? It was now relationship, the industries. I don't know. Maybe that's it for now for my little rant. Yeah, yeah. So that's what's up. So I believe if Trump would now be re-elected, that the wars would stop 100%. Because leaders like Putin and other is it Kim Jong-un, right? Like they don't really have a reason to respect US. They did like because first of all, if they just take a glance into the country, what is happening in the country, what the youth looks like, it's like, man, they are like all like the half of the Gen Z is like woke and stuff, you know. They can't decide if they are a man or a woman. You know, all this like brainwashing. Like, do you think? I don't know, man. It's crazy. So I don't know. Yeah, listen, and I think it was actually one of the founding fathers. I can't remember who it was. If it was Thomas Jefferson, I'm not sure, but there was this quote which spoke about the the United States as a world power, that they can't be the. It was this nice saying which I can't remember, but it was basically that they can't be destroyed from the outside. They can just die from suicide, and we are seeing the suicide right now because there aren't any, other countries who are like influencing the states. It's like literally the shady politicians within US who are, uh, pushing these weird policies where they are defending criminals. They are like lowering the severity of the punishments for criminals, uh, which in result are making even tougher time for businesses because if you look at New York, like how much looting is going on in the stores, like so many companies are shutting down. Even there was like this, there are like at least one uh big like restaurant chain is like completely shutting down, I think, because of these like lootings or bad policies. It was something Patrick but David spoke about. Um, and like, yeah. So it's like, yeah.
So it's like, yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. No, yeah. As you said, Donald Trump is a businessman, and he has been in the business for his entire life, kind of. So, to be honest, I think that's an advantage.
For sure, for
And
sure.
I think that's a huge advantage when it comes to, well, maybe some people wouldn't agree with me, but when it comes to politics, I think it's good to have like proper and actual experience uh, into the business life as well, just to actually know what you will affect and how your maybe friends and business partners will react to your decision. Um, so yeah, go ahead.
And another major, it can't be overstated how big advantage I think it is for a businessman to become a politician. And the advantage is that they know how to get things done. Because
Yeah,
if you are a businessman, like the thing is, you like the number one rule is like almost speed, or to be urgent to take care of things. While we have politicians like Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi and all these weird ass old people who are working in the White House, who have been politicians for like 40 or 30 years, I don't know, who have been just there talking a lot of nonsense and like not like they have not been working with a vision that is beneficial for the state of US. They are in there for self interest that didn't really come out as I wanted to. But yeah, for their self-interest, right? That they're getting a good salary to be there. It's like I think if you work in the White House, like it's like 200,000 per year, guaranteed. So it's a pretty nice incentive to just uh kind of do nothing, just try to stay there as uh, as long as you can, and just yeah.
Yeah.
So that is why I'm a huge fan of politicians like Trump and Vivek Ramaswamy, who are businessmen first. They are urgent. They have a clear vision. They are anti-establishment because the establishment is like one of the main issues. Who are the breeding ground for uh, bureaucracy and like just the bloating of the U.S. government.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like when you, I think I haven't been a businessman or a business owner, but from what I have heard from the Founders Podcast, like uh, kind of haven't gotten my insights into the business world that way through like interviews and stuff and podcasts. It's from what it looks like and like yeah, like how I kind of imagined the thing of running your own business. It's like basically running your own. It's not it's not maybe not a country, but it is its own entity, which you are like basically the president of.
Yeah.
And if you are a good businessman, like the best of the entrepreneurs have had a clear vision which they want to achieve, or so it's like there are a lot of similarities. Of course, then there are maybe the laws and the policies, which are like a completely different aspect of it. But I'm sure if you are a businessman, you have uh, your way around policies and the stuff like that as well. Like especially if you are running a major corporation or stuff like that. So yeah, yeah, yeah. Those were kind of some thoughts I wanted to throw in the pot of this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, this wasn't so much financial. It feels like, at least, but yeah,
Well, yeah,
it did had some stuff to do with it, but still, I guess it was nice to go through it, sort of. Uh, yeah, I don't know. Do you have something more to add? I'm just thinking, talking about Trump, and so I just read recently that he was thinking about, or if he gets elected president,
yeah,
he was thinking about ceasing the income-based tax and instead using some kind of all tariff tax or something on the imports or something like that. Um,
yeah, 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 yeah.
I'm not exactly. I don't exactly remember how it was, but I think it was something similar to what I just
Yeah,
explained.
yeah, he wanted to increase the tariffs. What I have heard for China, because one of there is like this one emerging EV company, which produces electrical vehicles, and they
Mhm.
have moved their
Oh,
factory to Mexico because
okay.
the States is a big market, and it's like much cheaper to produce the vehicles in Mexico and then import them to the States, which is a thing you wouldn't support if you are pro your country, I think. Especially like it's China, bro. It's like first of all they're communist. Second of all, they are like the kind of your opposition in a way. Like they are kind of in like I would say the second place of or they are a really powerful country as well.
When it comes to international trade, yeah, and
Yeah,
a lot of other factors as well. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's one. And then he also said that recently this week in one of his speeches that he would there is this tax which is called the tip tax. When you work in a restaurant, they have like this uh, it's just common thing for them apparently to tip the waiters, when you are eating out, and they are apparently taxed on the tips as well. It's crazy, man. They're like taxed on everything. It's crazy. Uh, so Trump said that recently that he would take away that tax, and so that and then people wouldn't get taxed on their tips as well. Yeah, things like that, and like I think maybe ending a subtopic can be I don't know, just kind of going back to our article here.
Hmm.
If we look at almost the first paragraph of the Republican style of regulating the economy, it's like pro-capitalism.
Yeah.
So it's like you are just freeing things up for a free market, and which doesn't involve, too much hands-on control from the government.
Yeah.
So, uh, and of course, that sort of an environment is going to benefit the people as a whole because we have more jobs, especially if you are prioritizing um, production, like local production, like in your country, and you don't outsource the jobs to like illegal immigrants, and like you are pro your people, and also you and how was it? I'm not exactly sure of the dynamic, but uh, creating incentives for factories to be in your country as well, which will also result in more jobs for um, your population and stuff like that, which basically are the things that, or yeah, which is basically the opposite of the liberal type of regulating the economy, who wants to be like more hands-on and like regulate things, which is basically like it's interest, which is basically communist, is like leaning towards a communistic system, which is why we well I think well I know the left has been in power for too long now because uh, you clearly see the bias, at least in the U.S. youth who are brainwashed in the schools, who are like literally not opposing communistic ideas, who are like pro, and all this equality talk and removing meritocracy as a basis for achievement, where the like meritocracy means that the basically the better player wins, right? Doesn't matter if it is a job interview or the free market, right? Which is again going back and bashing the woke ideologies.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
yeah. No, yeah, I mean, as we said, if we go back to our article, they have like some really good key takeaways, right?
yeah,
Republican, like one of them being Republican politicians tend to oppose government spending and intervention in the economy. And they also say that Republican politicians are more likely to support policies that favor business and commercial interests. And I think that the last one is like very. I mean, Trump is, or the Trump administration is so relatable to this to the second point. Uh, I would say. Uh, Meanwhile, democratic politicians tend to believe that the government should regulate the economy and fund social programs through taxation.
which increases the taxes.
Exactly. Yeah. 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 No. So yeah, it will be interesting. I'm really curious who will win this election in the U.S. Um, and
Yeah, I'm really worried personally.
yeah,
I'm really worried. But yeah,
I won't start speculating anything, but I think that if one part wins, I think I think some stuff could go straight downward, so to say. And then if the other, yeah, I'll just shut up. So I won't start any conspiracy theories or anything. Yeah.
man, you were just entering into one of my favorite topics, or one of the toxic topics that are so easy to talk about. But yeah, we will maybe not. I don't know. Uh, yeah, talk about too much about that because I think we have both kind of made our positions clear and like
Hmm.
I don't know, man. It's I don't think politics should be that controversial. Like they are made controversial, and like is dividing people. But it's like at the end of the day, it's just basically talking about how things should I don't know work and run. Like I don't know. It's like
I think you have a very good point. Last time we spoke about politics and so on, you said that both extremes, so the right, the extreme right and the extreme left, are sort of, most people see it as a lie. You're either right or you're either left. But if you look at it, the circle unites, and that's where the extremists are.
exactly they're like pretty close to
So
each other. You can
yeah,
like there's this good visualis visualization. What the fuck? This good
visualization.
good
Vil- Visualization.
visualization.
Illustration.
This good illustration of a horseshoe, and like Carsten said, the what do I have in my nose? I don't know. Uh, but the both ends, both like in the extreme part of the Republican or the right, and the extreme part of the left is no, it should be make like this. Well, it doesn't matter, but like the both extremes are pretty close to each other because when it comes to the extreme extremists, I guess. They basically have the same objective, which is basically to completely shut out and shut down the other opposing ideas and opposing uh, opponents, as we are seeing now. Yeah, which we are seeing now taking place.
Yeah.
So that's what's up. That's what's up.
Good.
All right, so yeah, we have kind of covered the political side of things,
Yeah.
which we have kind of mentioned it, and then like here and there during our podcast, maybe even more so me, but yeah. Now we have kind of also covered that a bit and talk about the right and the left, which basically is like every country, right? Like they have like other countries have many more parties, but
Except North Korea.
kind of, huh?
Except North Korea.
Yeah, Russia.
Yeah.
And like yeah, I think other countries as well.
All right, everyone. Thank you very much for listening to today's episode of Philosophy Culture. And yeah, I don't know. We hope you enjoyed this small or short political talk, even though I don't think it was that short.
Nope.
But yeah, I hope this discussion was somewhat interesting and will somehow help you navigate life spin.
Yeah. Comment down below. Like the episode, and yeah. What do you think about the economy? Let us know. Until next time.